Welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, today we are going to discuss some rumors about the possibility of Timcast IRL selling their company to the Daily Wire. We'll also follow up on the Brett Cooper situation, her departure from the Daily Wire, and we will additionally talk about this pizza shop that the gays are trying to force to cater to their same-sex wedding. Shocker. They just happen to find the only Christian-owned pizza place and try to force them to make them a pizza. So yeah, we'll talk about that and some more today on RCAM. So if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell to stay notified, and I go live every Tuesday through Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so let's get into this. So I've covered in a previous episode, commented on the Tim Pool situation a while back because Tim Pool had expressed that he was feeling frustrated over basically management and just running the day-to-day operations of his company. So I'll talk a little bit about that. And I have talked about that in the past. And now there are rumors. And by the way, take this with a grain of salt, okay? I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen. This is a rumor. And the sources, from what I understand, are anonymous, so I don't know if it's true or not, but we've seen a trend of rumors turning out to be true. So if it's floating around on Twitter, there might be some credibility to it. So that's up to you to decide. I'm just kind of reporting what I'm seeing right now. So this is from Media Right News. Tim Pool is reportedly selling his entire Timcast operation to the Daily Wire effective January 1st, sources confirmed to Media Right News. I'm just going to read right from their article, honestly. A little bit easier. All right. So one source told Media Right News that the Daily Wire employees have been questioning Timcast employees to determine whether they will be terminated, while a second said it is unclear which employees will retain their positions. It also understood that Pool is moving to Nashville and any employees retained will need to relocate after many were required to move to West Virginia to begin employment. I can understand how that might rub a few people the wrong way. you change your whole life to go work for this corporation just for them to sell their company to another company and then ask that you relocate again if you want to retain your job. So yeah, I would be frustrated if I was an employee in that situation. So we'll see. Poole recently commented on the Daily Wire split with Brett Cooper without disclosing his deal with the Daily Wire. It all just seems like an obvious contract stuff to me, wrote Poole, of the decision between the Daily Wire and Cooper to part ways. I assume Brett wanted more money. DW didn't. And didn't sick. Hold on a second. Didn't want to pay in past. I don't know why anybody would be mad. It's not like Brett can't keep doing videos. Now you get another show in the cultural space. So anyway, yeah, that was my initial speculation with this too, that it was about money. And I brought up the Crowder situation too, because that's, again, when I noticed Candace Owens doing a pretty dramatic shift in the way she covered content. I think I do stand by. She doesn't actually believe a lot of the stuff that she says about Israel. But at least while she was working at Daily Wire, that most of what she was doing was to provoke them to get out of her contract or to end her contract because she was salty over what they offered Steven Crowder. That's my speculation. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. And I think it's kind of the same here. Brett was with them, I think, about 3 years, so her contract was likely up, and they just decided to go their own separate ways. Now, I'm not saying that There might not be other things happening behind the scenes. We'll get into that because I do think that her new co-host Reagan, there's probably something there. There's probably something happened. So Poole additionally has already said that the Daily Wire had the Daily Wire as a silent minority partner for Timcast for months. The news follows Poole's confirmation following the federal indictments against alleging Tenet Media was funded and directed by Russian nationals, that he will cooperate with the FBI. Media Right News contacted Poole to confirm the plans for the Daily Wire to acquire his business, but did not receive an immediate response as of this publication. So this is speculation. Now, I do want to play for you this clip just to refresh your memory on how Tim Pool was just a couple months ago. Okay, so I believe this post is from October. So he was very frustrated, and he went public with this information.
We had our like, I don't know, 12th studio failure this morning.
The new one.
Yeah, the new studio failed. And, you know, my attitude with that is kind of just like, yeah, if we can't make cameras and a computer work, and despite all the previous failures we've had, there's not a single person here who can make sure that either the studio is operating or secondary studio is operating. We've gotten to a point in the company where everyone's kind of just kicked their feet up and said, I'm doing what I need to be doing. Yeah. And then that just means I'm Sisyphus pushing the rock up. The problem is people are sitting on the rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had shared this sentiment about a studio failure, and he was talking about how challenging it is to manage all of this. And he had even floated out the idea of potentially hiring somebody to do this. And at the time, I had said that the Daily Wire is the perfect choice because they already have a successful media company, and they are no strangers to managing talent and producing high quality content. I mean, you know, you could say what you want about the Daily Wire, but their studios are next level. They produce high quality content, and their business is a well-oiled machine. And this seems like something that is not Tim's strong suit, which is fine. You know, you can't be good at everything. And it seems like an obvious choice for Tim to delegate this out to the Daily Wire to manage his company. And that would free him up, empower him to focus on just creating content. Now, Tim doesn't strike me as the type of guy that would enter into one of these agreements and not maintain creative control. He doesn't seem like the type of person that's just going to be under the Daily Wire's thumb. He's going to want autonomy. He's going to want some level of control and creative liberty to do what he pleases. He also has a number of projects that he wants to get off the ground, and I know that he himself wants to make an impact in the culture. You know, he floated the idea of opening coffee shops. That has since crashed and burned. I don't think that's happening. But maybe with the Daily Wire, he could do it. You know, he's talked about producing music, making music. He's already released a couple songs. They were pretty good too. And he did one of them with the Daily Wire. So I think, I think this would be a good move for him. Honestly, I do. I think it's a positive development, bringing these two companies together to form one company and having the Daily Wire run everything and allowing Tim the money and resources and manpower to do everything that he aspires to do. And I've seen the Daily Wire. I've seen how they operate over the past 10 years I've been following their work. And I got to say, I think they would do a phenomenal job. I think they would do a great job. I mean, just look. I just watch, all right. So I've watched Matt Walsh go from a blogger to, recording videos from his car to working at the Blaze to working at the Daily Wire. And the Daily Wire has empowered the guy to make incredible content. He has his daily show. He has he made What Is a Woman and Am I a Racist, and he even has his own judge show. And this is all stuff that the Daily Wire came on board and helped him make. So I have no doubt in my mind that they wouldn't give Tim Pool the same treatment, you know? And it's not just Matt, you know, they've helped, what is it, Michael Knowles launch a cigar company. What does that have to do with content creation? Nothing. But he wanted to start a cigar company and they helped him do it. You know, Jeremy Boring started his own razor company. You know, so they do things that are not necessarily media related, but are actually good moves for the culture. And I think Tim would be the kind of perfect addition for the Daily Wire. Now, where they don't necessarily agree, where they diverge, is Tim's a libertarian, and you know, in that aspect, I don't think he would be necessarily a good fit. But I do think their visions overall align. You know, he advocates for liberty, freedom of speech, and that is something that I do think the Daily Wire, for the most part, honors. I think they're really good about letting their hosts say what they want, um, and I think this would be a good move for him. Honestly, I think it would be great. So I hope that he does it. Now, he did release a statement surrounding these rumors. So let's read it. So this is his official statement. Many people have been spreading rumors pertaining to the future of Timcast in our operation in West Virginia. It is an interesting question and it really gets to the heart of how independent media operates and what we need to do in the future. When you're building something like Timcast IRL, it's not just about saying we're independent and leaving it at that. It's about creating an ecosystem that thrives on authenticity and trust. It's about creating you want to grow, sure, but you also have to be careful about how you grow. It's about making decisions that add value without compromising the integrity of what you've built. I like to think of it as tending a garden. You start with something small, plant seeds that complement each other and watch it grow into something self-sustaining, but you also have to be mindful of what you're introducing. Some things can thrive together while others can disrupt the balance. You wouldn't plant something invasive that would choke out the rest of your garden. You definitely wouldn't ignore pests that could cause long-term damage. It's all about nurturing what works while keeping an eye on what doesn't. And of course, like any good garden, it needs a bit of diversity to really flourish. You need to add the right elements at the right time to make it more vibrant and productive. For instance, adding chickens to a garden can help fertilize the soil and control pests. It's a natural way to make everything work better together. That's something we're really excited about with Chicken City. Expanding that operation is going to be a big step forward in integrating everything we've been working on into a more cohesive ecosystem. So yes, we will add a garden to Chicken City, and we're bringing in new chickens to make it even better. Thank you. So Tim is trolling, very clearly. So this is a big nothing answer, and I do think it's funny, and I do ultimately think that it's very possible that he is doing this. So I know a lot of people are mad. A lot of people don't like the Daily Wire, you know, because you know, they are pro-Israel. Can I say something on that? Actually, I don't care. I don't care if they're pro-Israel. I don't even care if Israel controlled them. I don't. I don't care because this is like a boogeyman that we're never going to actually know if they do or don't, and it's just low hanging fruit, and it's lazy. All right, I don't. It doesn't matter to me who's pulling the strings. If there is anybody pulling the strings, I don't believe there is. I just believe there's a bunch of evil people in the world. Some of them are Jews, some of them aren't. You know, some of them, you know, there's evil people that exist within every race, religion, and uh, yeah, belief system known to man, and they do evil things. And there will always be wicked people with a wicked agenda. My goal, my priority is the truth, and I believe that the Daily Wire aims to be people who are actively seeking to change the culture for the better. If they support Israel, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. I'm so sick of hearing about Israel. And I'm so sick of people trying to smear the Israel Daily Wire because they support Israel. Get over it, all right? Just get over it. It's just so tiresome. Now, I'm not saying that people can't ask questions about Israel. It's fine, but it's just an annoying narrative at this point. It's just annoying. And now that I'm more cognizant of it, I just see it all the time, and their only criticism is that the Daily Wire supports Israel, and they're willing to ignore all the great things that they have done for the culture. And it's just astonishing to watch. And then I look at these people, I'm like, whoa, what the hell are you doing? You're not doing anything at all. You're crying about the Jews. That's all you do. And it's pathetic. It's annoying. And you're criticizing the only company. And I'm not saying that there isn't criticism to be had with the Daily Wire, but the Jew thing is just obnoxious at this point. It is the equivalent of calling everything racist. That's how I feel about it right now. It carries that energy, and I like what the Daily Wire has done. I like the talent that they have, and they've had 2 hosts leave. They've had Brett Cooper leave, and Candace Owens leave, and the deal with Steven Crowder, it didn't quite pan out the way that they'd hoped, but that's fine. It's fine. This happens all the time. This happens in normal media companies, by the way. People come and go. That's par for the course. Have you ever worked a job ever in your life? People come and go. Splits happen often. That's actually the norm. That is normal. It is normal to lose talent. And for the most part, they've done a good job retaining talent. People they keep losing people left and right. They lost 2 prominent people. That's it. Walsh has been there a long time. Knowles has been there a long time. Clavin has been there a long time. Jordan Peterson seems pretty happy there. They did lose some people when they relocated to Nashville. That's normal, though. It's just, that's business. That's life. Stop crying about it. Just it is what it is. If you like Brett Cooper, that's great. Continue to support Brett. If you like Candace Owens, support Candace Owens. I like Candace Owens. I don't agree with her and everything, but I like her. Brett Cooper, yeah, I don't watch her show, but she seems nice enough. Support her. And, speaking of Brett Cooper, let's talk about Regan, the person that has taken over for Brett Cooper. I do think she is I feel bad for this girl. Now, I don't know what the beef is between her and Brett, but I do think people should give her a fair shot. She could be a really great host. And I think people just need to give her an honest shot. Doesn't mean that you have to watch all of her stuff, but give her a chance. She could you could like her as much, or if not more than Cooper. And no one says you can't still watch Brett Cooper. She's gonna launch she already launched her YouTube channel, and she's gonna start making content come January. So it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna play a little bit from this clip from Regan, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Welcome to a new chapter of the comment section, and I am your new host, Regan Conrad. Now, some of you are probably asking, who is this chick? Where is Brett? What is going on? And those are all very valid questions. So before we get into today's episode, I want to just recap a few things with you all. Now, many of you have known me as producer Regan. I've been working on this show for almost 3 years now. I started with Daily Wire fresh out of college with a journalism degree and a resume full of social media work. And prior to applying here, I was listening to Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles literally every day because they were the voices online echoing my thoughts and my values and my beliefs. So I decided to apply to the Daily Wire. And I got a job, and I moved across the country from Pennsylvania to Nashville, and I've been here ever since. Now, funnily enough, my first job at this company was actually posting the Facebook videos for this brand new show called The Comment Section. And from there, I fell in love with this show and with this team. And I basically became an associate producer for a time, and then I became the producer. And even recently, you've probably seen me guest hosting on Fridays. So while I may feel like a stranger to most of you watching this video, I've been behind the scenes for years getting to know all of you. Now, over the last few weeks, the internet, as we so often cover on the show, has been the internet. And the comment sections have certainly been comment sectioning away. I mean, it's literally part of my job to read your comments, and so I know what's being said. And the one thing that is rightfully concerning many of you is the thought that Brett may have been forced out. I can assure you that that is not the case, and it is simply untrue. I mean, as Brett said herself in her final episode, and I would highly encourage every single one of you who has not yet seen that video to go watch that video, and also go watch and support and love on anything that Brett does coming up in the future, because I know that it will be amazing. It was Brett's decision to leave the show and move on to a new adventure, which she is very excited about, and all of you should be very excited for what's to come. And in saying all of that, it is an enormous honor for me, truly beyond my wildest dreams and anything that I could have ever hoped for, to have been given the honor to carry on this show. I care about the show so much too, and so I am so excited to keep this show moving forward. All that to say that I have learned so much from Brett over these last 3 years. Most profoundly though, she taught me how to be fearless. Brett sat at a desk and looked into these cameras and dared to speak truth and common sense that so many people were afraid to touch. Way before it was cool. Way before there were millions of you guys out there tuning in every day to help make her voice even louder. Brett was daring enough to step out there and be bold and courageous. And that helped so many of us be bold and courageous too. And that is just one piece of the impact that she's had on me so far in our lives. And I'm sure that you all have your own takeaways of the impact that she's had on your lives. And so I would encourage you to share that with her and also in this comment section. I love her dearly, and we will all really miss working alongside of her. All that being said, I know that I have some pretty big shoes to fill. And I am grateful to God and to all of you watching this video to give me the opportunity to do so. So let's keep being fearless. We need more young people, especially young women, to share their voices and join in this cultural shift that is happening in our country. I am so honored to be the next woman to pick up a new set of headphones and continue seeking truth for this generation. I'm also so freaking excited to lead this audience through the craziness and the wild time that is coming in our country and honestly in our world. I mean, Donald Trump was just picked as time.
Okay. Anyway, so I do think she's going to be more conservative than Brett Cooper, which is cool. I like that. I think that's a positive development because again, I bet Brett Cooper's best pal, practicing homosexual. So, that for me, red flag. If your closest friend is a homosexual, red flag about you. All right. So, that's something that definitely rubbed me the wrong way with Brett Cooper, and I was hoping, that she'd become less libertarian. Although I didn't watch her show, so I don't know how her views have evolved over the year. But that was one thing I didn't like about her. I actually think she's probably likely a true conservative, which is good because that those are the only type of people that should be working for a conservative media company. And this is again my issue ultimately with Timcast coming on board is that he is not actually a true conservative. So, it's one of those things where it's like if you bring in these people that have differing ideologies that aren't actually conservative, is it going to ultimately start to move things in a more libertarian direction? I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea, but it is what it is. But the fact that she listens to Walsh, Knowles, and Ben Shapiro, I think a good indicator that she probably has a good head on her shoulders. And she, if you're a young woman, probably watch her content. Yeah, I would say so. If you're a man, watch my content. All right, don't watch me. I'll guide you. I will give you quality content from a biblical, truly Christian and conservative perspective. I promise. No, watch whoever you want. But anyway, let's continue talking. So one interesting thing that I did notice on this video was a comment by Lisa Elizabeth, who works for Timcast. And she was responding and saying, all these people in the comments are going to look real stupid when they hear where Brett is going. Facts. Yes, I know. So it seems like Brett has potentially landed or secured a job elsewhere. So I'm very curious to see what that is. Maybe Fox scooped her up. Some people are speculating that. Maybe the Blaze. Who knows? But if people are going to look stupid, then it, I my conclusion is that maybe things weren't as bad as people are making them out to be. But I do think there's probably bad blood with her producer Reagan. Um, you know, her statement too is, you could tell it was very carefully crafted, and it's been pointed out that Brett Cooper is no longer following any of these people on Instagram. So that's interesting to me. So yeah, she's not following the Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring, or Regan, who, by the way, was her maid of honor at her wedding. So I do find that a little interesting. I find that suspect. So there's definitely more there. I don't know what it is, But honestly, I don't even. It doesn't really matter. She had a falling out with her friend over this. Sucks, but it happens. That's life. One interesting theory, though, that I thought was kind of cool was actually brought to my attention by uh, Ari, and she's a really good follow, by the way. She has a site called influences.com or influencers.com, and she helps people with their content creation. And she's genuinely just a good person, so I definitely recommend checking her out. She has a YouTube channel too, following her there. And she did a really great breakdown actually on contracts and all this stuff a while back that I thought was really solid. She explained the Steven Crowder situation and just how these contract negotiations tend to work. And I thought it was really good. Anyway, so she points out this conspiracy. So Brett Cooper departs Daily Wire following days of speculation. Amid all the rumors, Regan Robotic, Brett's producer, had been filling in for Brett periodically, and Brett announced I'm not even going to bother saying it, would take over the show as many predicted. Online sleuths noted that Cooper had deleted all photos featuring her with her producer from her Instagram in the week leading up to Cooper's announcement. But as Cooper said, the rumors are mostly true, whatever that means. In the video where Cooper says farewell, she happens to be wearing a dark blue sweater. In her days of absence, TikTok fans have been encouraging Cooper to wear blue in her next broadcast if she was subject to an NDA. And would you look at that? That nice royal blue. So that conspiracy is probably correct. Of course she's under an NDA. I mean, why wouldn't she be? So that's the conspiracy. And I think that is probably the gist of all this stuff surrounding the Daily Wire. And I wish nothing but the best for Brett Cooper, Regan, and Timcast. And I hope that there is a union between Timcast and the Daily Wire in the future, because I think they would be a powerhouse team that would actually make an impact in the culture. Tim, paired with the Daily Wire, now making quality music, I think could make waves. So I think that would be awesome. All right, next story. We are going to be talking about gay pizza. Not really. We're going to be talking about a pizza shop that has faced backlash after declining to cater a same-sex wedding. Man, this sounds familiar. This sounds like deja vu. It almost sounds like that incident where Jack Phillips was forced to make, or trying to be forced to make, a wedding cake for a homosexual couple, and he was taken to court. I believe he ultimately won. And this sounds very similar. Let's read this story. A pizza shop in Chattanooga, Tennessee said it was a choice of personal conviction not to provide catering services for same-sex weddings after critics bashed it for the policy. Wood-fired pizza eatery Pizzeria Cordell posted a statement to its Facebook account on Tuesday confirming its policy after a left-leaning media company first drew attention to it the day before. Recently, we made the difficult decision not to cater to a wedding due to our personal beliefs. Why is that even difficult? By the way, I'm sorry, it's not difficult. Like if somebody asked me to do, I don't know, make content for homosexuals, I would say no, absolutely, under no circumstance will I do that. Period. I, that's it. It doesn't weigh on me. It's not a difficult decision. It's actually the easiest one in the world for me to make. I won't do it flat out. I will not compromise. So I don't get why this is hard. This should just be an easy thing, but maybe because they knew that they were going to get backlash. Anyway, this belief comes from a place of personal conviction, one we know is not shared by everybody. It is one we hold without judgment toward others. This decision was not intended to harm or hurt anyone, and we are sorry for the pain this has caused the people who have been part of our community. We recognize and hear the feedback from everyone who's reached out today. We hope with time we can find other opportunity to extend grace and listen to one another, and remember that we may not always agree, but we can still treat each other with dignity and love. The statement thanked the community and asked to be given a chance to continue showing love to you when you come through the doors. Pizzeria Coral restricted comments under that specific post. However, its Facebook page was inundated with hundreds of negative comments bashing the decision under other unrelated posts. The previous post from Sunday featuring the photo of one of its dishes received over 1,500 comments reacting to controversy in the past 24 hours. Man, I want to go order pizza from this place. There aren't two reasonable sides here. Nobody asked you to be gay or promote any kind of message. They asked for pizza and bigots refused. That's the whole story. It isn't any deeper. Well, they didn't just ask for pizza. They specifically wanted it for a gay wedding. If they had come in and ordered a pie, I don't think they would have a problem giving them a pie. But they want them to provide the pie for a abomination. So yeah, they're totally justified in not having any part of that. So that's the whole story. It isn't deeper than that. It's black and white discrimination. One Facebook comment with over 200 likes reads: "Are you going to start asking your patrons their sexual orientation upon entering the vicinity?" Another top smoked: "Being bisexual, am I welcome? Might as well go ahead and put on your website that you don't cater or serve to gays either." Another top comment suggested someone alert the IRS to audit the business. Online commentators also slammed the owners as bigots and wished their business would suffer from the news. One commentator defended the business, citing the Supreme Court precedent. The Supreme Court has ruled on this, and it is in fact not discrimination. You are free to make your own choices, but so are they. Who are you to force someone else to share your beliefs, but then expect them to not to do the same? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but that's what they want. This is a one-way street. They want to force their belief on us, but they don't want us to be allowed to practice what we believe. And I think it's quite literally insane. It is crazy town, okay? And we should have no part in this. And I do think they did the right thing. And by the way, actually, this is definitely not their opinion, but I actually do think people should be allowed to discriminate. Yeah. And now, does that mean that I always support discrimination? But let's just pretend for a second that there was a business and they refused to serve Black people. Fine. I think they should be allowed to do that. I also think we should see what they're doing and then choose to not do business with them and let the free market speak. And if people don't want to do business with a racist, that's fine. They don't have to, and that business will suffer. So chances are there will be very little discrimination in the rare cases where there are actual discrimination on the basis of skin color. Let's say they'll pay the price for it in the market. People will not want to do business with them. So and it lets you know too, like if I'm doing business and I know that this person hates Black people, I'm not going to want to do business with them. But I would rather them be out in the open about it instead of keeping that secret because they're forced by law to not discriminate. It would just allow me to make better decisions with who I am associating with. So I think that's a good idea, actually. All right. Let's see here. All right, we'll cover this story too, because I think this is pretty relevant. So more than 18 years after Duke lacrosse allegations, Crystal Magnum admits that she made it all up. I testified falsely against those lacrosse players by saying that they raped me, even when they didn't. I made up a story that wasn't true. I hope they can forgive me.
And I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't. And that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. And made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God. And that was wrong. And I hope that they can forgive me. And
so he did something that ultimately resulted in people's lives being destroyed. Now, I give her credit for coming forward with the truth, but I do think that she should still suffer legal consequences for what she's done. Now, it sounds like she has a relationship with Jesus. That's great. I hope her soul is saved, but that should not exempt her from facing the consequences of her own actions. And if she's truly repentant, she'll willingly subject herself to whatever judgment comes from this, because what she did was horrifically evil. She destroyed men's lives. I actually vaguely remember this too. I remember this story being cited, but yeah, this is sad, man. And Matt Walsh he commented on this story, and he said that this is the female equivalent of grape, of what it does to men. Yeah, because it totally destroys their lives. It destroys their reputation, and it ruins them forever. And 18 years later, well, a substantial amount of damage has already been done to their reputations and their livelihoods and their lives. And just saying you're sorry doesn't make up for that. And she should face legal ramifications for lying under oath. And I do think that she should do the equivalent time of what they would have given a man for doing what she alleges that they did. Because that's how evil this is. And that would further discourage other women from going down the same path. Because this is something that, again, ruins people's lives. All right. Let's see here. I think we got a couple more. Then I'm going to wrap it up. We'll do this one. So I saw this. So the world's first fully robotic kitchen. Guys, the future is crazy. This is nuts. I could do everything. future is trippy. It is trippy, man. Yeah. Now, what I want is a robot that will do dishes and just mop and sweep for me, and that would be enough. But this is cool too. Yeah, just basic chores, and I think we'll be right as rain. All right, I think I'm done. Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Like, share, comment, follow, do all the things that helps me grow. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a blessed night. Deuces.